Flying has always captured the imagination. From the moment humanity first left the ground, aviation became not just a marvel of engineering, but also a trust exercise between technology and the people who rely on it. Every year, billions of passengers step onto airplanes with the unspoken belief that they will arrive safely. For most of us, flying has become routine, just another way to get from point A to point B. But behind that simplicity lies one of the most complex safety systems in the world. Each year, the International Air Transport Association (IATA) releases its annual safety report, offering a clear look at how well the aviation industry is living up to that promise of safety. And the 2024 report, released in early 2025, paints a picture that is both reassuring and sobering. It tells us that flying is still remarkably safe by any historical standard, but also that the industry took a step back from the extraordinary record set in 2023. So what exactly does the report say? How deadly were crashes in 2024? And what do these numbers actually mean for ordinary passengers? Let's dive deep into the IATA 2024 safety report and uncover the truth behind the fatal accident rate. The big picture, flying in numbers. The year 2024 saw approximately 46 million commercial flights worldwide. That includes both passenger and cargo operations. Every one of those flights required careful planning, coordination, and execution. When you look at such a massive number, it's easy to see how even a handful of accidents can feel like statistical noise. But for the people on board, every accident is everything. In 2024, there were 7 fatal accidents in the global commercial fleet. These accidents resulted in 2004 Fiat on-board fatalities. To put that in perspective, it means that out of more than 40 million flights, just 7 ended in tragedy. But compared to the year before, 2023, the difference is striking. In 2023, the aviation world recorded only 1 fatal accident with 72 deaths. That was one of the safest years in the history of commercial aviation. By contrast, 2024 feels like a step backward, even if the overall risk remains low. The all-accident rate. IATA tracks not only fatal accidents, but also the total number of accidents, including those with no deaths. The metric they use is the all-accident rate, measured per million flights. In 2024, the global accident rate was 1.13 accidents per million flights. That's the equivalent of 1 accident for roughly every 880,000 flights. It is slightly worse than 2023, when the rate was 1.09, but still better than the 5-year average of 1.25. What does that really mean? Imagine every passenger jet taking off in 2024 lined up in sequence. You could watch nearly 900,000 successful flights before reaching one that experienced an accident. And even then, many of those accidents did not involve fatalities, the fatality risk. Perhaps the most important figure in the 2024 report is the fatality risk, which IATA calculates as the probability of a passenger dying in a flight based on global accident data. In 2024, the fatality risk was 0.06. This means that a person would have to take a commercial flight every day for 47,000 years before statistically being involved in a fatal accident. That's how rare such events are. And yet the human mind doesn't work in probabilities. When we see a crash in the news, the images are so dramatic, the loss of life so visceral, that it overshadows the billions of safe miles flown every year. What went wrong in 2024? The report makes it clear that 2024 was not a catastrophic year for aviation safety, but it was more deadly than the year before. The 7 fatal accidents each had different causes. Some involved regional carriers flying older aircraft. Others happened in areas where safety oversight and infrastructure lag behind international standards. One of the clearest divides revealed by the report is between IOSA, registered airlines, and those outside the system. IOSA stands for IATA Operational Safety Audit, a rigorous global standard that airlines can choose to comply with. In 2024, IOSA Airlines had an accident rate of 0.92 per million flights, while non-IOSA carriers posted a much higher rate of 1.70. That difference is stark. It shows that airlines adhering to international safety audits are statistically far safer than those that don't. For passengers, it's a reminder that the airline you choose does matter, especially if you are flying in parts of the world where regulatory oversight may be uneven. Comparing regions, IATA's safety data also reveals regional differences. North America and Europe, with their strict regulations and advanced infrastructure, continue to have some of the lowest accident rates in the world. Africa, Latin America, and parts of Asia, however, still face greater challenges. The reasons are complex. Some regions struggle with older aircraft fleets, limited resources for training and maintenance, or difficult operating environments. Weather, air traffic control infrastructure, and even geopolitical instability can play a role. But one thing is consistent across the globe. When countries invest in oversight, audits, and training, the safety record improves. Lessons from the deadliest crashes. Numbers alone don't capture the human stories behind aviation accidents. The deadliest crashes of 2024 were heartbreaking events that left families shattered. Each accident is investigated by local authorities, with support from international experts. The goal is not only to understand what happened, but also to ensure it never happens again. Some of these accidents involve technical failures, others pilot error, and still others a combination of factors. In several cases, the final reports have not yet been completed, meaning the full lessons are still being learned. But one theme runs through aviation safety: every crash becomes a classroom. The regulations that keep us safe today are built on the tragedies of the past. Public perception vs. statistical reality. Here's the paradox. Flying has never been safer than it is today. The fatality risk of 0.06 in 2024 is dramatically lower than it was a generation ago. In the 1970s, fatal accidents were far more common, and crash images regularly dominated the headlines. But to the public, safety is often judged emotionally, not statistically. When 7 fatal crashes occur in 1 year, it feels like flying has suddenly become more dangerous. Media coverage reinforces that feeling, but the numbers tell a different story. Flying is still one of the safest ways to travel, far safer than driving a car, taking a motorcycle, or even walking in traffic. Why flying is still safe? What keeps flying so safe is the aviation industry's relentless commitment to learning and adapting. The IATA report highlights that every accident is meticulously studied. Manufacturers redesign parts, airlines retrain pilots, regulators update procedures, and auditors verify compliance. The result is a feedback loop that constantly pushes aviation toward greater safety. No other form of transportation has such a rigorous global system of oversight. And passengers play a role too. Every time you follow safety instructions, every time you pay attention to the briefing, you are participating in a culture that values preparedness. Looking ahead, the future of aviation safety. The IATA 2024 Safety Report is not just about the past, it is a roadmap pointing toward the future. Air traffic is rebounding rapidly after the pandemic, with passenger demand pushing airlines back toward record numbers. More planes in the sky means more complexity in scheduling, maintenance, and air traffic control. To keep safety levels where they are or make them even stronger, the aviation industry must evolve alongside this growth. Technology will play the most visible role. Artificial intelligence and predictive maintenance are already transforming the way airlines handle safety. Modern aircraft generate streams of real-time data, from engine performance to cabin pressure. Instead of waiting for a failure, systems now flag early warning signs long before they become dangerous. This shift from reactive to predictive safety is one of the biggest breakthroughs in decades. Airlines can ground a plane before an engine issue becomes a fire, or replace a part before it causes an emergency landing. Air traffic management is also entering a new era. Artificial intelligence and automation are being tested to help controllers manage crowded skies, reducing the risk of mid-air conflicts. At the same time, the rise of drones and unmanned aircraft adds a new challenge: civil aviation. Authorities are developing frameworks to integrate them safely into shared airspace, ensuring that human pilots and automated systems can coexist without risk. But the future is not without obstacles. Climate change is already creating new safety risks: stronger storms, hotter runways, and more unpredictable turbulence. Airlines must adapt to weather events that are both more frequent and more extreme. Global instability also poses challenges: wars and conflict zones force airlines to reroute flights, increasing costs and operational risks. And in fast-growing regions like Asia and Africa, aviation is expanding at a pace that tests regulatory systems and infrastructure, raising concerns about keeping safety standards consistent worldwide. The lesson of 2024 is clear. While accidents still occur, aviation remains one of the safest industries on Earth, precisely because it learns from every incident. Safety is not a static achievement, but a constant pursuit. As technology advances and global challenges intensify, aviation's greatest strength lies in its ability to adapt. For passengers, the message is reassuring. Flying remains safer than almost anything else we do in daily life, and the systems behind it are only getting stronger. Conclusion: numbers and humanity. The IATA 2024 Safety Report is more than a ledger of crashes and figures. It is a mirror reflecting both the fragility and resilience of modern aviation. At its surface, the numbers appear cold and clinical. 7 fatal accidents, 244 lives lost. But numbers alone never tell the full story. Behind each entry in the report lies a human being who boarded a plane expecting to arrive safely at their part destination. A parent, a child, a colleague, a friend. For their families, the statistics are not abstract. They are heartbreak written in permanence, and yet aviation safety cannot be judged by tragedy alone. To understand the scope, the report must be set against its backdrop. More than 40 million flights conducted in 2024, carrying billions of passengers across continents, oceans, and skies that just a century ago were nearly unreachable. Each takeoff and landing represents the seamless coordination of pilots, air traffic controllers, engineers, maintenance crews, manufacturers, and regulators. Together, they form one of the most sophisticated and globally interconnected systems ever designed by humankind. And every year, as reports like this one are published, the world is reminded that while perfection may never be within reach, the pursuit of safety continues. Because in aviation, every number is a life, and every life matters.